Hey filmmakers, how you guys doing tonight? Welcome back to yet another late night live stream. I'm happy to be here with all you guys. And sorry for a little bit of a later start. I had a little bit of technical difficulties here getting everything off the ground, but this is going to be a great live stream and this should be a really interactive one tonight. So we are going to be talking about reviewing your gimbal setups live tonight. So please, if you haven't already and you're in the live stream right now, not watching this on the replay, DM me on Instagram at Chadwin a picture of your gimbal rig or setup. And if you don't have a picture of yours, maybe just throw down in the chat what you're doing, how you've got it all put together. And then we'll try and just have a good conversation about that, talk about it back and forth. So let me know what you guys got going on there. So and hopefully you guys can all hear me, see me okay. This thing is saying that having a little bit of an error or issue with the Wi-Fi. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you guys able to see and hear me fine, or is it starting to buffer? I'd love to know. So I'm just going to type in the chat too. Hopefully. Okay. All right. So what is up? Harry Pradvi, how you doing? Andre Gittins, how's it going? It's good to see all you guys here on the live stream tonight. So this should be a fun one. I love talking about gimbals and gear and things like that you guys all have going on. So this should be a good one. Let's get started right off and hopefully, okay, everyone can hear and see fine. Good. Okay, just making sure. YouTube's always giving me warnings like, everything's going to explode. And then people are like, it's fine. What's happening? So good. Cool. Let's take a look at one of our first submissions tonight. And this should be a good one to start off with. And again, if you guys haven't sent any in yet, send your photos to me at Chadwin on Instagram right now so we can start reviewing them. Okay. So here we go. All right, so here's the first gimbal that we're going to be checking out tonight. And this one was submitted on Instagram by Red Hot Chili Pepper is the name of his username. So what's up? He says a couple things about it. Let me read the notes here about it's always nice to see what their setup is, him describing it. So, all right, so he's saying that he got the Ronin S2 yesterday. He's rocking the Ronin S right now. I see that. And he's got the small rig wooden handle there on the back to go into underslung mode, which is what he's saying. And then he's using, it looks like the Filworld F5 monitor, which I've used plenty in the past. It's a really good little filled monitor. It's pretty affordable. I think it's like $130. So really good price. It's really similar to the small HD focus monitor. That's what I use primarily just because I like the interface on it. Basically, the operating system is really intuitive, easy to tap around on. Whereas a lot of the other touchscreen ones sometimes can be not as responsive and the menus aren't as good. But doesn't matter. All that you really need here is the way to see, obviously your framing, your exposure, everything like that, your focus. So yeah, it looks great. Nothing too complicated here. A simple small rig, little underslung mount there. He's got another picture of it here he sent me, so I'll pull that up. Yeah, I like this. I haven't used one of these little underslung handles yet, but I would love to try one out. I know a lot of guys swear by them. Obviously, the Weeble, the all the Zion ones, the Zion Weeble, this and that, and the Crane Lab, and those, all have that handle in the back built in. If you guys have shot with one of those and you like shooting in underslung mode, leave a comment down below. Tell me why you like it, why you don't like it. For me, I haven't found a super great use for it yet because usually I'm literally just holding the gimbal with two hands or pulling focus with one hand and holding it with the other. I don't usually find that I hold my gimbal kind of like in that underslung briefcase mode. I could see that being really handy if legitimately my shoot called for it. And it was almost everything you're going to be doing is really low to the ground. We need really low angle shots of someone running. So maybe for sports, or I don't know, you're filming I don't know, kids or something for some video or something, and you got to be really close to the ground to your subjects. Sure. But for me, it just hasn't been necessary. But I think this is a great simple rig. The Ronin S, honestly, just on its own is fantastic, and chuck a monitor on there and it really does the job pretty well. So see, he's got what it looks like is the A7S II, I think. Let me see if his comments say, he didn't say which one, but it looks like the A7S II. And then he's got a zoom lens on there. It looks like maybe like an 18-55 or 18-135, something like that. I can't say for sure, but yeah, I think that's a good setup. I don't usually rock with a zoom lens on my gimbal because I like to like kind of choose one focal length, which is usually wide, 24 millimeters on a full frame or 16 on a crop sensor. But yeah, I think it's nice to be able to zoom in. The only thing is usually, you know, when you zoom in, it changes the weight on the gimbal. So the motors have to work a lot harder and your footage gets less smooth if you're like more telephoto zoomed into 50 millimeters and beyond. But overall, simple setup. I like it. I like that the HDMI cable is really short. That's what's the best, is when you just have a clean HDMI, nice and short, that's not like wrapped around everywhere and tangling around everything, or has to like get zip tied somewhere because there's like a big coil. I see a lot of guys do that, and I'm just like, just buy a shorter HDMI. You only need like 3 feet maximum, but usually like 1.5 to 2 feet will get you there, somewhere in that range. So yeah, no, simple setup. I like it. Looks good. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about it. Yeah, glad to see everyone can hear fine. Shedrack John, how you doing? Carly, what's up? Andre Gittins, I already said hey to you. Hi again. Mensa TV official, what's up? Joseph Aspino, how you doing? Jan, hola, welcome back to another live stream. And Lucas Holmes, hello from New Zealand. Nice. I know, it's weird. It's late night here. It's 8 o'clock. And on the other side of the world, it's morning time, I'm sure. In New Zealand, I don't know what time it is for sure. Maybe it's 8 a.m. or something. I don't know. But yeah, crazy and weird, right? Christmas is coming up. I don't know if you guys celebrate that, but is that weird to be in like summertime Christmas? How is that? I would love to know, like, other side of the world, how is Christmas in the summertime? Sorry, got to do. Keep the caffeine going for the stream. So if you guys haven't yet, please submit photos of your own gimbals to me on Instagram at Chadwin. I'm checking that right now, and I'll be checking it throughout the stream to just see what's going on and what you guys are sending me. So I would love to see it. Yeah, still waiting on more gimbals to come in and review here to get us started off. Did one of these a couple months back where we did rig reviews, and you guys sent me so many rigs. I swear I couldn't even review all of them. I think I got like, I don't know, 40 or 50 submissions on the live stream, so it was just a ton of fun. So please send me a picture of your gimbal setup. If you don't use a gimbal, you know, feel free to send me a setup of your other rig, handheld rig, whatever it is. We'll check it out. I'd love to see it. So while we're kind of waiting for more of you guys to submit rigs to be reviewed, I'll show you guys real quick, you know, a little walkthrough on what I'm using and what I found to work pretty well. So I've done a full review on this gimbal already, just recently on the channel, but here we've got the Zhiyun Crane 2S. And I've really been liking this gimbal a lot. It's a simple single-handed grip, and I've been really happy with it. I'd say my first ever gimbal that I purchased was the Zhiyun Crane V2. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but it's like pretty thin, skinny, light. I really liked that one. I actually like did a lot of hiking and like just like traveling with it. Took it with me all through the streets of New York, up Mount Rainier, getting that like all the way to the top of Mount Rainier, but on different hikes. And it was just a great lightweight gimbal. So I love that. I think that like the Zhiyun Crane Weeble S is like small and similar to that. But yeah, so the Crane 2S, the way that I have it set up right now is I have this little small rig clamp around the top that has 1/4-20 threads and airy mounting pins so that I can mount different accessories to it. So what I like to do is get this little small rig monitor mount. This one's got an airy pin on it, but you can basically get any of these little small rig mounts, and then I mount it right on the back of the gimbal right here. And that way I can put my monitor directly centered on the gimbal. So that way nothing else is getting in the way. So I'll kind of show you that really quick. All right. So basically, I just take the arm off the small HD because it's just a little bit too much, and I put the monitor mount on this guy. And this is the wrong monitor mount. I have two of these, and this one's got the airy pin on it, but I'll show you just the basic overall what it essentially looks like. So yeah, and guys, I'm seeing some people saying, hey, I haven't been able to send in my picture yet. You know, we still got time. We're going to be on the stream for as long as you guys want to be here hanging out. So definitely still send it. I will be checking all of the submissions right now on the live stream. So my inbox is open and I'm checking to see what is popping in. All right, so I've got the monitor mount on there, and basically I just take this and put it right here on the back into this 1/4 thread. Again, this is the wrong one. I've got the area locating pin one on here. My other monitor mount I think is like somewhere in a bin or a box somewhere, but basically I mount this right behind. So that way I can see everything really clearly, and it's not too like wonky off to the side or some other weird place. It's right dead center. I really like that a lot. So I've found that works really great. It works pretty good with the small HD. I also use it with the Ninja V that I've got here. So I just added this cage to it. I don't know if you guys put cages on your monitors. Obviously it makes them a lot bigger and more bulky, but it's a little bit more protective. I'm always worried about like breaking the screen or dropping it or something and doing some damage to like my screen. So it's nice having that cage on there. It makes it a little bit more bulky and heavy, but this one was a little bit more affordable. It's from a company called 8sin. You've probably seen their cages before. So yeah, not a bad price on this one. And it has HDMI locks on there, which you've got to have if you're on a gimbal, because otherwise you find that HDMI cable gets tugged if your gimbal's swinging around and it could pull out or break the HDMI port or cable, which I have had happen before. I've broken a couple HDMI cables when I didn't have a good lock on there and it like bent. So you got to be really careful with those. So I like having that cage on there, especially for having the addition of HDMI locks. So I think that works really good. Now, something I will say about the small HD focus is that I don't need an HDMI lock on there, because if you guys know, this is pretty infamous for you can only fit the small HDMI cables into here, because basically only those, because like the actual inside of this port here is like really, really skinny and custom made for this. So I never have to worry about this cable popping out or breaking or tugging or anything, because it's like basically housed so well when you plug it in. So I do like that. There's a benefit to that. I know Kai W, like he sawed his off with a handsaw and just like, forget that. I want to put any HDMI cable in there that I want, which is fine. But as long as you use small HDs, it actually is perfect, because it doesn't wiggle. You never worry about the connection or anything, and you don't need an HDMI lock. So as long as you use their cables, it's actually a really good solution. So it's nothing actually to complain about. I think it actually works pretty well. So that's my opinion on it, but I would love to see your guys' rigs. And if you don't start submitting them soon, I'm going to cancel your Fortnite. I'm just kidding. No one plays Fortnite anymore, do they? So that's like a Mr. Beast thing. I'm going to cancel your something account. So yeah, please, I'm updating the inbox now to see what you guys are submitting. And if I don't get a couple more things coming in soon, you know, I do have some other rigs pulled up that we can take a look at. Here we go. Got a couple coming in. See what we've got. Try and get them pulled up. All right, here we go. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. You guys should be excited about this. There's a couple good pictures in here. See if I can get them downloaded really quick, and then I'll show them to you guys. So it's kind of weird. It's like you have to, to get any of these things pulled up, you have to open them up. Like Instagram doesn't let you just like download pictures and open them up really quick or anything. It's kind of weird. I remember last time I was doing your guys' like a live rig review with you guys, it didn't download any of the photos as JPEGs. It downloaded all of them as like some other weird file format that I've never heard of in my life. So I don't know if you guys have had that issue, but I'm getting them all opened up right now. Thank you guys. Please keep submitting them. I would love to get to as many as I can in this stream. So see if we can get this opened up, and then we'll keep going here. So here we go. All right. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on each of the rigs. I'm not the only person that should be talking here, so keep the chat going, and I'd love to see what you guys are thinking about this. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump right into this. All right. So this one is from full res Glenn. So Glenn, I've seen you in the live stream lots of times. Thank you for sending these in. So sorry about the resolution. It might be a little low. I'm kind of zoomed in. Yeah, Instagram like compresses, as you know, all photos and videos to make them look as worse as possible, like as terrible as possible. So yeah, looks like he's rocking the Crane 2S here. Obviously, you know, totally stripped down right here. Nothing additional. So let's check out some of his other photos really quick. Okay, here we go. So here's looks like the Ronin S, the original Ronin S, and he's got the Andy Cine 4K monitor. Can't tell if that's the 5-inch or the 7-inch. I'm going to go look, see if you left any comments. Okay, so yeah, let me know in the chat. Looks like he's got a 5-inch monitor in there. And this is really similar to our last one from Red Hot Chili Pepper with having the monitor on the underslung mode here. Do you guys really like that? How does that work for you? Because I'm like trying to imagine holding it, right? So you're like kind of gripping the gimbal here, and then you've got, try and picture this, then you've got a mount on the back here. So do you just sit and hold it kind of like this the whole time and then look at the screen right there? I mean, maybe that would work. I feel like it might get uncomfortable having a grip here and a grip kind of up high, but I don't know. I see a lot of guys do that in like all these different groups and everything, people submitting photos, you know, on Facebook and stuff groups where they have the underslung mode, that handle. So maybe I got to try it out. Maybe I'll be converted, and I should probably just do a review. So yeah, Glenn, this looks good. I like to, again, short HDMI, nothing too long. I will say you got to get some HDMI locks on there. That's my advice. Maybe, I don't know if you've had issues with it or not, but if you could get one on the monitor or maybe on your camera at least, because that looks like it's micro HDMI, or maybe it's mini. I'm not sure. It looks like, are you shooting on is that the GH5, GH4, something like that? That's what it looks like to me. Leave a comment below. Let me know. So yeah, no, great looking rig though. Simple. Got the underslung mode monitor with the tilt arm. I think that's all right. My only thing is it adds a little bit of extra bulk. That's why I take it off on the small HD so that I don't have that extra bulk. What you could do instead, totally up to you. Obviously, it's your rig. Where did it go? My little small rig monitor mount. Oh, it's on here. So what I might try instead of using the little tilt arm that came with your Andy Cine monitor, get one of these little small rig monitor mounts and just screw it right onto the top of that back handle. Then you can still tilt just like you need to. You can tilt back and forth as you want to, you know, as you need to, so you can adjust your viewing angle, but then you don't have that extra bracket that might get in the way or just kind of adds like a little bit of extra bulk. This will help it get a little bit more low profile. So something to consider. Otherwise, it's a great looking rig. Obviously, you know, you can get really good footage on, you don't need to get complex. So I like just, usually for me, just getting a monitor on there does the job. So I think that looks great. And then he submitted a couple other rig photos here, so we'll check those out too as we're getting more gimbal submissions in. So I like this. Looks like you're rocking, what is that? It's an Atomos Ninja Assassin or a Shogun. I can't tell for sure. It looks like a 7-inch though. It's hard to tell in perspective here, but it looks like one of the 7-inch ones. You got the Foca matte box. I love that matte box, really good. Swing away version, it's really nice. I've done a review, like a couple reviews showing that matte box works great. What lens is that? I can't tell what zoom lens you got going there. It looks like one of the Sigmas, but this barrel looks really big right here. It looks a little different than I'm used to seeing, so I'd love to know. Great, you know, cage, rails to just get that matte box on there and a nice top handle. That looks good. Again, with this little ball mount here, I find that those always end up unscrewing. So if you kind of are doing handheld, which it looks like you could do some good handheld work with this, I could see that pivoting and just like kind of rotating, unscrewing. I don't know if you have issues with that, but if you can, ditch all the little ball heads because they tend to unscrew and go loose. At least all mine. Try to get one of these little monitor mounts. They're like $30 on Amazon from Small Rig, and they work so good. And you could probably just, I'm sure there's a I mean, that's what you have it screwed into right now is a 1/4-20 thread. So if you could get a 1/4-20 thread or NATO rail or area locating pins, even better, and get it on there. You want, you know, it to be really secure, like 2 points of contact so it can't spin, and then you can do all of your tilting and everything with your monitor. But yeah, I think that looks great. Again, nice short HDMI cable, no extra loops and things like that getting in the way. Looks clean. I really like it, dude. So yeah, I think we hit all of them. Oh, there's another picture. So from this angle, it looks like it's a Ninja. From this angle, I thought it was one of the bigger it looked like one of the bigger monitors, but maybe you got two different rigs here. But I see this looks like one of the Ninja V's, like this. So very cool stuff. And I see you've got, it looks like Comica Labs. Are those the Comicas or the Boom XUs or something like that? I like the really small size of those, so that looks great. Good looking rig. So yeah, awesome stuff, guys. Please keep the submissions coming. I'm going to try to get to all of them and get to your comments as well as we keep this thing going. So good stuff, man. Thank you for sending that in, Glenn. I love it. So, all right. Kai Stangeland, how's it going, dude? He says, I'm using the DJI Ronin S with GH5. Yeah, great setup. Really simple. I love the Ronin S. I don't think you have to get the Ronin S2 unless you're really in the need to upgrade or something. And then, you know, great camera as well. So cool stuff. Yeah. Glenn, again, thanks for sending those pictures over. He says that's the new A6 Pro. That's how I hold it. The only issue is since I'm using the S1, it's a little close to the knuckles. Okay, gotcha. You're using the Panasonic S1. I think we've talked about that on one of the live streams in the past. And it sounds like you're really liking it. So, yeah, I think that's interesting that you're saying kind of like the way that you hold the gimbal, that your hand gets close to the back of the camera, and like your knuckles do. So that's interesting too, like having the handle up that high. You could see how maybe you could end up like hitting your hand on it possibly as you're taking it on or off or something. So interesting stuff. Minash TV official says, please, is there a way I can record audio from my monitor? Not sure what you mean by that. Which monitor are you talking about? Monitor on your camera setup or whatever. Unless it's a recorder, like one of the Atomos ones, like Ninja V, Shogun, whatever it is, you can record multiple channels of audio. Most of them can do multiple lines in. You can do like up to 8. And so it just kind of depends on which one you're using. So yeah, you can capture audio on it. Unless you're talking about some other monitor, let me know. All right. So let's see here. Glenn says, yeah, I mainly use the Ninja V, but had that one on the rig for a review. Nice. Okay, yeah, so the other one was the Ninja Inferno. That's what I was thinking. I was looking at the pictures and I was thinking, this looks like the Inferno or one of the other larger monitors. It doesn't look like the Ninja V. So cool. All right. And it's a Sigma 85. Okay, that's why it has a bigger front of the lens there. Just getting caught up. If you guys are just wondering what's going on, we were just talking about his rig and what things he had attached to it. So very cool stuff. Yeah, lots of stuff. So Sahib Ali, what's up? He says, I use Samsung A51 and a $5 tripod. Good quality. Nice. $5 tripod. That's got to be the most affordable, cheapest tripod I've ever heard of. So as long as it's working for you, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I think my first tripod that I started off with, I got used on eBay and on Craigslist. Just locally picked it up from someone for like, I think 100 or something like that, $100. I still use it all the time. It's right there on the floor next to me. I use it all the time. So yeah, no problems there. You know, obviously get what you can. All right, so let's check it out. Got a couple more submissions coming in here. Pull up some more for you guys tonight. Please keep them all coming. I would love to get to all your different rigs, gimbal rigs, whatever it is that you have, so that we can check it out here on the live stream. All right, just a sec. We're getting this pulled up. All right. Again, Instagram totally compressed the quality of this, so hopefully it doesn't look too terrible. All right. Here we go. So this one is from the Orlando guy. Thanks, man, for sending this in. It's always good to have you in the live streams. It's a little, I can't scroll up. It's bouncing back and down, but it looks like he's got the Zion Weeble. What is that? The Zion Weeble Lab S? I can't keep up with all the names. Zion always comes up with the craziest names, but it's their smaller one, the Weeble Lab. I think it's the S. It's a smaller one. Looks great though. It looks like it can handle a lot of weight. I've heard people say that. What lens and camera do you have on there? Again, the resolution is just like terrible on Instagram. It just ruined the resolution, so I can't tell which one it is. let me know in the comments down below. What camera is shooting on what lens? Looks like a good, simple setup. I really like that. Nothing too complicated. Gets the job done. And obviously it's a great travel camera. I think that works awesome. So let me know, man, what camera and lens you're shooting on. I'd love to know. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Are you like, leave a comment below. What do you think? Are you on team like completely rig out your gimbal with all of the accessories, a monitor, follow focus things, you know, an external battery like a V-mount battery? Do you put a transmitter on your gimbal? What do you like to do? You know, I see guys put side grips on them. Or are you team like just like strip down? You just like to run off the back LCD on your camera, or maybe one monitor? Let me know in the comments below. Are you fully rigged out or stripped down? You know, let me know right now down below. I'd love to know. And if you guys are liking this live stream so far, be sure to smash the like button. Destroy the like button. They say it helps the algorithm. So, and I just, it's just fun. So just do it. Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on the inbox here, guys. It looks like we've got a couple more, hopefully coming in soon. So please keep them coming. Here we go. I'm going to get them pulled up. While I'm doing that, you guys, you know, hit the chat down below. Let me know whether you are on team rigged out gimbal or you like it basic, stripped down. Let me know. All right, here we go. Getting a couple different pictures loaded up, and then we'll review this next one. So this looks like a good rig. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. So we have a new gimbal set up here, and I'm just getting it all zoomed in so you guys can actually see it on the live stream. Sorry, I know I'm kind of like just doing this all like basically off the cuff as I'm pulling them all up. So be patient with me. I'm sorry. I'm like just like going dead silent for a second while I'm trying to work on it. So, all right, here we go. Getting this all pulled up. So, all right, so we've got a submission from Don't Mind Me 48 on Instagram. Thanks, man, for sending this over. So looks like he is rocking the original Ronin M, which is the first gimbal that I ever used. So it's not the first one I ever owned, but it is the first one I ever used, man. Classic stuff. You know, they're the first ones to really put that two-handed grip like into extreme popularity. And I really think that the Ronin M changed the gimbal industry because it was still expensive when it first came out, but it started making other companies make them and make them cheaper and stuff. So I really like what DJI did with the gimbal industry because you started seeing them become much more popular. Before that, Movi and Freefly, there were a handful of other companies that were making gimbals, but they were crazy expensive, like $4,000-$5,000. So it was very rare to own one as just like as a prosumer, as like a indie filmmaker, you know, doing local commercials and ads and things. People didn't have them. So the Ronin M, I think it's still a pretty good gimbal. My biggest beef with it is that I can't ever set it down. You have to carry the stand around with you everywhere, which I see you've got yours on to take your picture, which is fine. And you got the original Atomos Shogun on there as well, which I still rock at work. Sometimes we use that one. We'll get to your other rig here in a sec. So yeah, I think that's a good setup. And it looks like, if I can tell, it looks like you're using the small HDMI cable, which I love. I'm using it right now. I showed it earlier. It's such a thin, light cable. I know I keep saying, I've talked about this HDMI cable so many times on my channel. I swear people will probably think I'm sponsored by them. If you like small, light, thin HDMI cables, get the HDMI cables from Small HD. Seriously, these little HDMI cables are the best. They add no weight to your gimbal. So a lot of times, like, the HDMI cable ends up pulling down on your motors and putting everything off balance. These are almost like imperceptible to the balance of your gimbal. And even though they're really light and thin, they're super durable. I've never had one break on me, knock on wood. So I think they're seriously the best HDMI cable you can buy. So many other ones that you get that are like consumer ones are thick and they hold basically what is called memory to them. I'm sure you're familiar with that, but they hold memory, right? So it'll twist around and it'll get stuck one way, and then it'll be all funky, sticking out on the side of your gimbal because it has too much memory. The nice thing about these really thin ones is they don't hold much memory to them at all. As long as you kind of straighten it out first and then plug it in, it's not going to hold a lot of that like curvy memory to it. I know I'm going on like a way tangent about an HDMI gimbal. Like, how's that even possible? But I'm just passionate about it, guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, good looking gimbal, dude. It looks like you're also rocking the, oh man, I can't tell what it is. The resolution on the Instagram sends is so low, but got a matte box that looks like on the front. Might be the Tilta Mini matte box. That's what it looks like. Leave a comment in the chat right now. Let me know. Is that the Tilta Mini matte box that you're using there? I would love to know. Yeah, so great looking rig. And then let's take a look at your other rig here. So we've got a handheld rig, and yeah, that looks like the Tilta matte box Mini to me now that I'm seeing another angle. And again, the original Atomos Shogun on there, or just the original one. So recorder looks good. Got a nice top handle on there. Real simple, just a base plate for throwing it onto a tripod. I like it. It's a good setup. What camera is that? Is that the A7S? Looks like one of the A7s. I can't tell for sure that you're rocking, but looks like an A7S II or something. And you're adapting a Canon lens. Looks like a 24-70 or something. Let me know in the comments. Are you using a Metabones? What are you using to adapt that? Looks good, man. Good, simple rig. I like it. Easy to run around handheld. And then if you want to put it onto a tripod, I see you're using the small rig monitor mount that I've already talked about a million times. My favorite, it's the best spot to put your monitors right in front of your top handle or right on top of it. Really low profile with this. So I like that. Great looking rig, dude. Really good job. Yeah, so really good stuff, guys. Keep all of the submissions coming. I will keep this live stream going as long as you guys are sending in photos of your rigs. If you stop sending them, then we'll have nothing to review anymore. So keep them coming. All right, let's check out the comments here. I want to see what's going on with you guys. So, all right, yeah, Glenn Reed. So I was earlier. It's always like takes a while to catch up on the chat. He says his team depends on the situation. When we were talking about whether you rig out your gimbal completely or you like it stripped down, I could 100% agree with that. Yeah, if I just need to just grab something really quick, I just basically run with just the gimbal and probably a monitor because I can't rely on the LCD. You're just never going to tell when things are in focus. At least a monitor, like that's my bare minimum. Otherwise, I'll add other things to it if I can, if I need to. So yeah, it depends on the situation, what you need. I can definitely agree with that. Vivid Visual says Tilta matte box correct. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is what it looked like. I couldn't tell from the other image, but once I saw another angle of the matte box, it's the Mini. So I know a lot of guys rock the Tilta Mini matte box. It's a great price. I think it's like $99. I really like the look of it. Small, compact, clips on the front of your lens, so you don't have to use 15 millimeter rods if you don't want to. But I've never used it. I need to check it out still. My main reason that I haven't used it is because it only fits the larger ND filters. So you have to use, I think it's the 4x5.7 or whatever ND filters, and they're just crazy expensive. They're like $200 to $300 for an ND filter. So that's why I haven't gotten into them. My matte box just uses the 4x4 filters, which are way cheaper. A lot of times you can find them for like $50 to $70 a piece. So that's why I didn't go with the Tilta Mini matte box, because it just takes such big glass. Yeah, so I do know that a lot of guys will put that matte box on there, but then not use it for filters. They'll put a screw-on filter on there still that are cheaper, just a round screw-on filter, and then clamp the matte box onto the end of that. I think that works fine. To me, it defeats the point of a matte box a little bit, that you're supposed to be able to just drop in NDs in and out. I would love to see them make one that just uses 4x4 filters so that we can buy cheaper ones. But hey, if you get into the more expensive cinema lenses and stuff, having a larger ND like that and matte box that fits that is great. So it's a really good solution. Very cool. So Brown Guy Made IT, what's up, dude? Welcome back to another live stream. It's always good to have you here, dude. All right. And Vivid Visual says A7S Mark One. Heck yeah, dude. I love it. So yeah, we were just looking at your your rig here. I'm gonna pull it up again. You know, that is funny. It's actually really funny that you say that, because my first ever gimbal that I ran on was the Ronin M. No joke. It was your exact setup, minus the tilt-a-mat box. I like freaking kid you not. It was with the company that I work for now. They brought me onto a shoot, and they had the original Sony A7S on a Ronin M with the Atomos recorder, the original one that you've got on there. No joke, it was this exact setup. It might even have been a Canon lens. I can't remember, but we adapt a lot of Canon glass. But obviously the tilt-a-mat box wasn't out yet. So yes, that was my first experience running on a gimbal, was with your setup and your camera, dude. So I love it. Totally funny. Now that I think about it, I'm like, wait a second. I have shot on your exact rig. That's the first thing that I ever shot on with a gimbal. So really cool stuff, dude. Funny, weird full circle there on that. So cool stuff. All right. Rackety Rack, what's up? He says, B's and E's. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for joining us on the live stream tonight. All right. And then Vivid Visual says it's an older 17 to 35 L lens. Dude, that's crazy. I have not even heard of that lens. A Canon 17 to 35. That's different. And 17 on a full frame, that's really wide. That's awesome. I like that. So obviously perfect for a gimbal, being able to get that wide. That's really dope. I'm gonna have to check that lens out. What's the f-stop on that? Does it stay at f2.8? Is it consistent, or does it, stop down as you zoom in? I would love to know. Or if it's a constant aperture. Takumi Koyama. I'm sorry. I'm so terrible at usernames, but Takumi, what's up? How you doing, man? Neutron. Sorry again, terrible with names, but Tran, hey, any tips for gimbal setup for a hike? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. If you just hopped into the stream, I was talking about, I originally worked on the Zhiyun Crane V2 because it was so thin and light. It was one of my favorite setups. So yeah, I mean, best gimbal setup for a hike, first I'd start with a smaller gimbal. If you don't have a smaller gimbal, like the Ronin M, obviously that doesn't break down small. You got to like carry that in a giant Pelican usually, or that sort of thing. But yeah, so start with the smaller gimbal, like the Zhiyun Gimbal S, I think it is, the small guy. They're getting to like the point where they fold down a lot. I know the Ronin SC and the Ronin SC2 obviously are much smaller. The SC2 looks like a freaking transformer, the way that thing folds up. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but I hope to. I think if you can't afford it, get a small gimbal if you're going to be doing a lot of hiking and stuff. So start with the small gimbal first, like the Ronin SC2 or the Gimbal S. And then as far as hiking, I would just grab, a smaller camera, smaller mirrorless camera. Don't go with like the big one. It's harder to hike with like a Blackmagic Pocket 6K because it's just so much more bulky. So try to go with the smaller mirrorless camera and maybe one good lens, possibly a zoom one if you need good telephoto. And then it's up to you whether you want to throw a monitor on there. But yeah, when I'm going hiking, I go almost like just completely stripped down if I can, as light as possible. I was going to pull up a picture actually that I have. See if I can find it from a hike that I did where I was hiking with my gimbal. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick, because it's a good example of what my rig used to look like. See if I can find it here. Uh-oh. I don't know where it is. But swear. Oh, here we go. All right. Hold tight, guys. I'm gonna get this up if Instagram will let me just download it. Oof. They just never let you like drag and drop a photo off of their deal. They don't like it. Let me see. I'm gonna screenshot my own Instagram picture so I can actually show you guys what this looks like. So here we go. This was my setup for hiking about a year ago when I was doing a hike in Washington, in the Seattle area. I'll show you guys this. All right. Here we go. So there is my setup. Try and zoom in here. It's kind of cutting off. Sorry. But So that's the Zhiyun Crane V2. It's very thin, light, and it's the same setup I was talking about earlier, where I just put the small HD focus monitor directly mounted right behind with this little arm, or this little mount right behind the gimbal. And then that's it. A little small HD cable, boom, just running in. That's it. That's all it was. And that's the Sony a6500. So it's my smallest, lightest mirrorless camera that I own. I'm actually filming this live stream on it right now. So worked great. And that's Mount Rainier in the background, one of the tallest mountains in America, blah, blah, blah. It's got a full-time glacier on it. So yeah, that's a good setup for hiking. It still takes some time. Like I had to pull it out of my backpack, add the monitor, put it together and stuff, because it doesn't break down really good. But I know they've made a ton of advances. Like with the Weebill S, it's so much smaller and it folds down, so you don't have to like unscrew the bottom handle and pull the batteries out and everything. It's much easier to travel with. But yeah, I hiked a long ways with this gimbal and it worked great. So hopefully that answers your question. It's funny because I just thought of that when you asked about a good travel setup. I was like, got a picture somewhere. So good stuff. All right, let's see what else we can get pulled up here. I'm going to check the inbox, guys. Please keep the submissions coming. I am definitely going to review anyone that makes it into this live stream while we're going here. So, all right. Oh, okay. So I'm just looking at the comments here from the Orlando guy. He said on Instagram about his gimbal setup. Let me see if I can pull it up, show you guys. Yeah, so he says that the Weebill S is weak. He says he's going to move up to the Ronin S2. So it sounds like it might be a little bit too weak for his camera setup and lens there. It definitely looks like a really big lens to be putting onto the Weebill S. Yeah, maybe the Ronin S SC2 would work better. Maybe it's more powerful than the Weebill S. I'm not sure. I'd have to do like a side-by-side comparison of that. But yeah, a little bit bigger of a lens to be putting on that small of a gimbal. So that's, yeah, I think an upgrade to a larger one will definitely help that out. So let's see. I'm checking the inbox here, see what else you guys have coming in. Looks like we got a couple more guys shooting over their rigs. So let me get these pictures downloaded, and then I'm going to show you what else we got. So a couple more. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good stuff, guys. Some fun rigs to look at, talk about. So here we go. All right. All right. So we've got one here. Let's see. Okay, so this one was submitted to me by hero_AAM. Hero AM on Instagram. Hero_AAM. Thanks, dude, for submitting this picture. So, yeah, obviously it's not a gimbal, but it is his handheld setup, which we're going to take a look at. So it looks like he's rocking a Canon. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below which one it is. Oh, man, the resolution when you download it from Instagram is terrible. I'm looking at it on another web here, and I can actually like see things. Looks like a Canon, like I can't tell what it is exactly, 7D, something like that. But good looking setup. Got two grips on there to obviously get really nice stable footage. Looks like the Rode microphone, Rode shotgun microphone, got a little ring light on there, and looks like maybe another wireless like lav pack or something. I can't tell what that is exactly. Let me know in the comments, man. But yeah, good simple setup. Get some good steady footage. What I will say is I'm not the biggest fan. If you watch this channel before, you'll know this about me, but I'm not the biggest fan of onboard lights or flashes. I'm all about off camera lighting and flashes if you're doing photography, just because when you put that light right on them, it literally looks like a flashlight getting shined on the person and then you're filming it. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. I get that sometimes in low light situations, you've got to have extra light, but if you can, bring another person or set up the light real quick on a stand or something, a small, cheap, like Amazon stand off to the side. So it's coming in at an angle, 45-degree angle, or off from the side. Because, yeah, you just blast them with that, especially like at events. I see a lot of guys that shoot events, maybe do a lot of events and like clubs and stuff. They'll put a light like this on top, and then you look at the footage back from like the nightclub or whatever, and it's like it kills the whole vibe of the club, right? Because it's supposed to look dark, moody, like there should be colors and stuff like that from like the DJ's like lighting setup. But you throw that flashlight on them, and all of a sudden they're just like super bright and lit. So it kind of kills the whole mood. And I find too that when you shine that light on people when you're shooting events, they immediately shut down. They're like, "Whoa, I'm getting blasted by a light," and they turn down, right? So they stop dancing, they stop having fun. They're like worried that they're being filmed. So my only piece of recommendation there is maybe try to get the light off the rig if you can. So let's take a look at your other setup here. Another handheld setup with an eye loop on the back there. That's kind of cool. So you can actually see out here. Let me zoom out so you guys can see it better on the stream. So he's got a little eye loop on the back so we can see the LCD like out in bright sunlight. I think that's cool for a handheld rig. Another shotgun mic, top handle, and then you've got another LED light here. Looks like one of the newer ones. I used to have, I think, the exact same one. It's a newer like 20 LED light or something. Again, works good for lighting things up, but I just can't do the light on top of my camera anymore. When I first started out, I did do that. I did exactly what you did. I put that light on top of my camera and I shot an event at Comic-Con. But yeah, I can't do it anymore because now I look back at the footage and I'm like, wow, it just looks like a flashlight. So good setup though. I think that's you've got basically the essentials that you need to do the job right there. And not everyone likes gimbal footage. So it doesn't have to be that smooth floating gimbal footage. Having a nice sturdy handheld rig works really great. So I think that's cool, dude. Good stuff there. All right. So let me hop back down into the chat. I know I kind of get rolling and then I miss the chat because I can't see what everyone's talking about in the chat. So, all right. Brown Guy Made IT says, what's your thoughts on the Apple M1 chips? I know there's so many people talking about the Apple M1 chip. I need to try it out. I can't make any clarification on it yet, but they're making it sound like it's, just going to be such a fast processor and everything and just really good. But my main thing with it is right now, this is like totally not camera related, but I mean, it is editing, and which we all do a ton of. The M1 chip only allows for 16 gigabytes of RAM. Non-negotiable, non-upgradable. When you buy it from Apple, if you want to slot it in later, basically it's a system on a chip. And I'm going to get technical here for a second, but I used to work at Intel. I spent 3 years on Intel. So basically when they designed the chip, everything to make it all run faster is built into that chip so that it doesn't have to travel throughout the whole motherboard. It's much faster. So when it needs RAM and everything else, basically those connections are right next to each other, so it doesn't have to travel as far throughout the board. So it should make editing faster technically, and it doesn't heat up as much. So obviously that's why the battery life is better on them, because it's not having to work as hard and travel as far. But 16 gigabytes of RAM, I don't know if that's enough to do a lot of good editing on. I know the computer on right now is an iMac. It's actually an older iMac, but I upgraded it myself to 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is as much as I could do in the computer. And it does a pretty good job, but even that will get eaten up by, video processing when I'm doing my editing. So M1 chip, I'd love to see where it goes and if 16 gigabytes of RAM is enough. Again, you can't upgrade it. It's all built into that tiny chip, which is amazing that RAM can be like pretty much microscopic almost, just teeny tiny. It is cool technology. I'd love to test it out with editing and just see how it handles 4K and 6K footage. So yeah, I don't know. There's a ton of channels that reviewed that, so you'll just have to check those out. Nishan BK, what's up? He says, how to enter into Hollywood as a cinematographer? Yeah, great question. I think a lot of people would love to know the answer to that, myself included. Yeah, I think really so many people are getting their start through just being out there on YouTube, putting your content up on your website, Instagram. There's been a lot of guys that actually have made movies because they got discovered from short films and things like that basically went viral on YouTube. I think FilmRat has talked about one of them on his channel. I can't remember the name. It's blinking me. If you don't, leave it down in the chat. But he made a horror film, like a horror short, and now he's done a couple horror films, like real mainstream ones. So You can definitely get into it. I think YouTube is a great platform to post your stuff onto. I know a lot of guys, and I might cause a rift here, but a lot of people swear by Vimeo because they think the resolution is better, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't compress as much. There may be some truth to that, but guys, no one is on Vimeo. No one uses it. Even if you put your stuff on there, no one's searching on there. It's not coming up. No one cares. I'm sorry. There's some guys that are so posh and they're like, Vimeo. No. Vimeo is dead and it's going to die. YouTube is where it's at. They've got the money. They've got the viewers. They've got the advertisers. Vimeo will die. Even if they do better even if they don't compress your footage as much, people don't care. They're watching it in maybe a little bit lower res or compression on YouTube. But YouTube still allows 8K footage, so I don't know. Anyways, that's my rant on Vimeo. And you have to pay for it. Screw that. Sorry. I hate Vimeo. Now you know how passionate I'm about it. Let me know in the comments below. Do you hate Vimeo as much as I do? I swear, every time I get on there, it's buffering too. It's higher quality, but it always buffers. Nothing ever plays smoothly. So, all right, I'm stepping down off my rant, guys. Sorry, I just hate Vimeo a lot. All right, so let's check out what else is going on here. Brown Guy Made IT says, you've already seen my setup. The most I can do is submit more photos. Yeah. I think I did review yours in one of the last ones, dude. No worries at all. So, all right. I'm going to see what else is coming in. See if we got any more photos submitted here to review. So please keep them coming, guys. It's so fun seeing what other people are doing and what they're shooting on. So, hit me up, hit me with whatever you got. I'm still checking all of the submissions. So keep the photos coming. All right. Looks like we got another one here. Get this pulled up real quick. All right. Instagram, please don't compress this photo so much. It just looks terrible when you do that to me. All right. Here we go. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for submitting them. I know it's sometimes inconvenient because you're like, hey, wait, where is that photo I took? And you got to like dive back through your phone or your computer or whatever to find it. But it's going to be worth it. Everyone watching this live stream is going to see your sick gimbal setup or rig setup, whatever it is. So freaking make it happen. Don't hold back. All right. All right. Here we go. Just getting these pulled up. All right. Sick. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Hold on just a sec. All right, so we've got one here from Tevin_Turunen on Instagram. TEVAN_TURUNEN. Turan. Sweet looking rig, dude. Thanks for submitting. Okay, let's see if he hasn't put any comments on what it is, but I can pretty much see. So it looks like we are rocking, it looks like a Zhiyun Crane 2. I think so. I think it's a Zhiyun Crane 2 or maybe the Zhiyun Crane V2. I can't tell for sure. No. This is the Crane Plus. This is the Zhiyun Crane Plus. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm like 99% sure. Zhiyun Crane Plus, they change so quick. I swear Zhiyun, like they make gimbals in their sleep. They eat, drink, and sleep gimbals over there. So we've got the Zhiyun Crane Plus. We've got the Nucleus Nano with the little grip on the side there. I've done this setup with my old Zhiyun Crane V2, and it came with the mount with the tilted to put it on there, which I thought was sick that they added that. Got a side handle grip there on the side. Just looks like you're using the 1/4 threads. It's a good handle, pretty affordable. I think it's like, this one's like $20 from Small Rig with the rubber grip. Got that on the side there so you can get two good hands on there. And then it looks like, let me see if the other photo shows it here. Yes, an Andy Cine 4K. So good value for money monitor. I think they're like, the Andy Cine 4Ks, I think like $160, something like that on Amazon. Not bad. Good clean setup. And then it looks like you've got an HDMI cable and a power cable, I think, going on here. I see two cables and one's going, I see a little one plugged in right there. So it looks like you might be powering your camera off of the monitor. Is that what you're doing? I know a lot of guys do that. I have never done it. Honestly, I haven't. It's weird. I know a lot of people, like, they're like, oh, my monitor can power my camera. And then they run power out of there because you can run these larger Sony NPF batteries. But I've just never done it. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I don't know. I don't know why. Excuse me. A lot of the gimbals now can power your camera. So I think that's the main reason actually that I haven't powered my gimbal or my camera off of the monitor, but it looks like it's working great for you. Like this one, what is this? So the Crane 2S, sorry, I know exactly what it is, but I'm just trying to figure out where the port is. So on the front here, there's USB-C ports. There's 2 here and there's a third one on the back. So I can just plug in the USB-C here and then plug it into my camera and it'll get power from the gimbal. And I found that it does a pretty good job because this has like a 10-hour battery life, roughly in that range. And so I can run the gimbal for a long time and the camera. Whereas these Sony NPF batteries that go on the back of monitors, like your Andy Cine 4K there, they don't last very long. I find that they last maybe an hour. And especially if you're powering the monitor and a camera, they go quick and they take a long time to recharge. So that's why I don't usually go for them, because they're heavy. You got to carry a lot of them, carry them in your pocket to switch them out. I've gone with more of powering everything off the gimbal now, but it looks like I said, I think you're running the Crane V2 or Crane Plus, and that doesn't let you power it off the gimbal right now. So you've got a good setup for that. The Crane or the Sony NPF batteries are definitely way better than using the internal batteries that come on your camera. So no issue there. Yeah, it looks like you've got a little focus gear wrapped around your lens so that you can run the Nucleus Nano. I think that's awesome. If you're doing manual focusing, you've got to be able to pull focus. So that's great. The little focus wheel for your Nano is in a good spot. And then I love the cable management. Looks like you're using zip ties. Here's what I will say. At some point, you're going to have to switch that cable, or you're in the middle of a shoot and the HDMI cable just stops working or breaks. So don't zip tie it, because you're going to need to cut that. And you're going to have scissors on you or a knife. And then if you're not careful, you might cut the cable. So what I would recommend, just grab some cheap Velcro. You can buy it on Amazon, a little roll of Velcro. You can buy it at Home Depot, whatever it is. Get little pieces of Velcro and just wrap them in little short pieces all the way up. I've done that on tons of rigs when I'm putting them together. Yeah, it'll just be hard if something goes wrong with one of those cables on a shoot and you need to cut those zip ties. Otherwise, it looks really clean, but I would just say that there's a possibility that that goes wrong on a shoot. So good stuff though, dude. Love the submission. Thank you so much for submitting that. Cool looking rig. I'm going to hop back into the chat here for just a sec, see what you guys are doing. So, sorry, it's like as soon as I start reviewing someone's thing, the chat starts exploding and I can't keep up. So let's quickly take a dive into the chat. Okay, a little bit of off topic here, but I'll address your question and keep going. So Bayed bin Jayed says, what's the best Sony camera? Is the A6400 good for auto? Excuse me. Is the A6400 good for autofocus? Yeah, it's a good camera for autofocus. The A60 line got really good at autofocus. So if you're looking for an autofocus cam, that's what I'm using right now, is the A6500. It's really good at autofocus. The A6600 and the A6400 all have really good autofocus. So yes, definitely a good camera for that. I'd say it's a good spot to go. Cinematic. Yeah, Brown Guy Made AT says, the best cinematic camera is the one you can afford. Yeah, whatever you can afford. And honestly, what looks cinematic is what's in front of the camera. It's not the camera. I've preached this on the channel so many times, but it's the way that you light it. It's your location, your talent, what they're wearing, what they're doing, everything like that. That's going to make your image look cinematic, whereas the camera just does its part to record the image. It's not nearly as important in the equation to making something look cinematic. It's what you're actually filming. So, let's see here. So, Domino Stories, what's up? Good to have you back on the live stream. He says, I want to ask, what's your opinion about the DJI Ronin 2? I haven't shot with it yet. I would love to try it out. I love the Ronin S, and I think it works really good. So I would love to try out the Ronin 2. It's expensive though. So we're not talking about the Ronin S line here, the Ronin S, the Ronin S2, the Ronin 2. It looks really nice, but it's expensive. I think it's like $5,000 minimum. But it's a really good cam. I've seen my friends use it on cars. They'll mount it onto their cars and onto like cranes and things like that. But it's just such an expensive gimbal. It's definitely for larger cameras like a Red or an Airy, which is usually what I see guys flying on with the Ronin 2. It's the big boy. It's the older brother to the Ronin S. But a great gimbal if you can afford it. I just don't think it's a good everyday one. Like if you're just shooting by yourself, because it's so heavy. All right. So I keep going here. Evan Turanen says, it's fantastic. Okay, talking about the Ronin 2. Domino Story says, I love gimbals. I love lamp. I love gimbals. Me too. So, Afro Chic Media says, seems like you don't need more than 16 gigabytes of RAM to edit 4K from what I've seen. You could definitely do it with only 16 gigs of RAM. We're going back to the Apple M1 chip story here again. But of course you can. I just like at home, I edit with 32 gigs of RAM. At the studio I work out, I edit on 64 gigabytes of RAM. And honestly, more always helps, especially when you're multitasking and like importing footage at the same time you're exporting and editing and all this. So I don't know. I'd like to see more RAM on the M1 chips offered, maybe in the M2 or something. All right, so try and keep getting to all your guys' questions here. I'm losing track. Let's see here. All right. We're talking about full frame versus APS-C. Bahed says, is APS-C, can it be good enough? I would say 100% APS-C crop sensor can definitely be good enough. This is a tangent. I know we're talking about gimbals, but I'm going to hop into this convo for a sec. All my cameras right now that I own are APS-C cameras. A6500, the Fujifilm X-T4, wherever that thing's at, the Blackmagic. All of them are crop sensors and they do a really good job. You can get a great image out of them. You can get paid to do your job with a crop sensor. You don't have to have a full frame. My last camera was a Sony A7S full frame. I love the image, but it just got outdated. I need some new features that the APS-C ones have at a better price. So I got all of the nice like autofocus, in-body image stabilization, all the stuff that I wanted, 4K, 60 frames per second and everything, but just in an APS-C camera. So if you can afford the full frame like a Sony A7S III, go for it. I'm going to be doing a review of that on my channel coming up soon, so keep an eye out. But yeah, you can do a lot of good stuff on a crop sensor. Domino Story says, will Davinci Resolve run on 16 gigabytes of RAM? I think it would. But again, more RAM is always better in my opinion. Afro Chic Media says Vimeo is whack. Yeah, I'm always behind in the chat. I would love to see what you guys think about Vimeo. Yeah, Rufio XC says, to be fair, full frame has only been used in films for the past few years, and APS-C is closer to Super 35 anyway. Yep, you're 100% correct. Almost every movie and television show that you've ever watched in your lifetime was shot on Super 35 or APS-C crop sensor. Full frame, the Monstro, the Arri LF large format, those just came out in the past couple of years, and so we're just starting to see things shot in full frame sensors. Obviously, the new Sony cameras, the FX5 and the FX7, FX5 and the FX9, full frame. So we're going to see a lot more stuff come out of those from full frame cinema cameras. But everything before that was all Super 35 just about. It's only been in the past couple of years. All right. Tang Quack, I'm sorry, I'm butchering usernames, but he says, between the Fuji X-T3 and Sony A6600, which should you buy? Which one for wedding videos? That's a tough one. Those are both really, really good cameras. Obviously, the A6600 has the flip-up screen, just like the Fuji X-T3 does. And they both, they shoot 4K, they have autofocus. Honestly, if you're deciding between those two and you can afford to do it, what I would do is I would probably get the Sony A7C, because you're basically getting all the features of the Sony A7 III, full frame sensor, good autofocus and everything, but you're getting with a fully articulating like flip out screen and a small form factor that the Sony A6600 gives you, but in full frame, which looks great for weddings, getting that really shallow depth of field for the bride and groom, and everything looks beautiful. That's probably what I'd recommend, but the Fuji X-T3 and the A6600 would obviously work as well. But if you can spring it, a couple $100 more, I'd probably get the Sony A7C. I'm thinking about getting one, I don't know. It might be nice. Bayazid says, is using Luts good for videos? Yeah, I use Luts frequently, because I shoot everything in flat log as much as I can, and then I put a base LUT on there to get the color grading started, to get it kind of close to a Rec 709, and then I start color grading even more from there to add my own flair and get it dialed into how I want. So yes, LUTs, no problem there. A lot of guys think, oh, just throw a LUT on there and you're done. That's not true. Throw a LUT on there and then keep working. So yeah, I think there's always work to be done with that. All right, so I'm gonna jump back into my inbox here, see if I've got any new submissions. I want to make sure I don't miss any of your guys's photo submissions of your gimbals. If you're on the live stream right now and you have a picture of your gimbal or your other rig, send it to me right now on Instagram at Chadwin. Shoot me a DM. I will be checking my inbox for the next little bit here, and I want to make sure I get to your photos. So yeah, please submit them so we can stay on top of it and get your questions answered and everyone can see your sick gimbal. So please keep them coming. All right. Yeah, Afro Chic talking back on Vimeo says YouTube is the second largest search engine. Remember that. Yeah, exactly. Vimeo is not a search engine. No one's looking for videos there. There we go. Domino Stories. Thank you. We talked about this earlier. We're talking about Film Riot and short films and getting into cinematography. So the director is David Sandberg. He directed Annabelle, and he used to make videos on YouTube only. So awesome stuff. Thanks for bringing that back up. I couldn't remember his name. David Sandberg. Check him out. Makes short films. He makes movies in Hollywood. So yes, YouTube, I think, is the place to be if you want to make it through this route. You can obviously go to film school, be a PA on set, and also work your way up on set that way as well. No issue doing both of them. So Mr. Frog Monster says, hi, what's up? All right. Let's see here. More talking about sensor size and everything. Javier NS, how's it going, man? He says, hey, dude, I'm making my own gimbal from wood and skateboard bearings. Oh, gimbal. Okay, gotcha. I was like, what? You're making your own gimbal from wood and skateboard bearings. Yeah, dude, that sounds interesting. If you have any pictures of it, send it my way when it's done on Instagram. Maybe we'll do it in the next review, the live review of gimbals. I would love to see that. Sounds really interesting. Maybe it'll work really good. Excuse me. I will say that I've seen a lot of like homemade gimbals before gimbals like got as cheap and popular as they now. Like you can buy a gimbal for a couple $100 or used for $100. But before that, there were a lot of guys kind of creating their own little gimbals and Steadicams and stuff. So I think that's cool of you to kind of make your own gimbal and see what you can do with it. So really cool stuff. Guys, if you like that, if you think it's cool to make your own gimbals, smash the like button right now. Give them some support. That's cool. So Alex YZ says, is this real? Yes. We are not in the Matrix, my friend. This is real. Javier NS says, I don't know. Okay, maybe they're talking about the wood. I'm seeing now. Maybe they're talking about the wood gimbal with skateboard bearings. I don't know, but I think it's real. All right, so yes, this don't look real, says Alex YZ. Okay, I don't know what's happening. All right, so Domino Story says, are you... Sometimes the chat is like, what is happening? What are you guys talking about? Domino Story says, are you thinking of buying your own Red Komodo 6K? I would love to get the Red Komodo 6K, but I also don't have $6,000 to just drop on a camera right now. That would be awesome. It looks great. Obviously, the size of it is great. That little 4x4 cube camera. I mean, it's cute, small. It'll work perfectly on a gimbal. I've seen so many good gimbal setups right now, literally running with a Red, so it's really cool. Yeah, I think in the future, if I'm able to like get the right job and just have the money to invest in that camera, maybe I will. Or maybe once they start hitting the used market, I'll pick up a 6K when they're not like $6,000. So yeah, hopefully in the future. Good questions, guys. Keep them coming. Keep any submissions coming. I think we're going to round out the live here pretty soon. We're just, an hour and 10 minutes into this. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you still have a submission, do it right now before this thing wraps up. I would love to see any more gimbal setups that you guys have. So, real quick, before we get into that, I'm not seeing any new submissions yet. I want to pull up Facebook for a second, maybe, I think. And let's see what kind of rigs are on Facebook, because sometimes it's just fun to look at other people's setups. Let's see if I can do this without totally destroying everything. All right, here we go. So All right, there we go. So check this out. This is the Ronin S and Ronin SC user group. If you guys are watching this live stream, there's a good chance you're already part of this Facebook group, but it's fun to see what other people are doing. So it looks like he's got the Zion Crane S2 or the 3S. But yeah, he's rocking like a kind of more of like a, not a webcam, but basically, how am I saying that? Like not a webcam, but like a JVC, like big video cam, I guess you could say, kind of more of like an old school look. Yeah, okay, so this one's the Sony, like a Sony handy cam, I guess you could say. This is the XD cam. Interesting to see that on a gimbal. Yeah, the Crane 3S. Interesting setup. Obviously, you would never use an eyepiece on a gimbal, like walking around and putting your eye up to the gimbal and then it's like smashing you in the face or putting it all off balance. That's kind of hilarious. Maybe he just did it for fun. But since you guys aren't submitting enough submissions here, I'm going to pull up just a couple other ones. See what kind of things people are doing. Sometimes there's like the funniest things happening in this group. Yeah, let's see here. See what other kind of rigs we've got going. Okay, so what is that? Looks like an Alexa Mini, maybe. So rocking a little Alexa Mini, and then it's got follow focus on there, and looks like a DJI Ronin S. Looks like an Alexa Mini to me. You guys let me know in the comments, but good, simple setup. Obviously, Alexa Mini is a fantastic camera, and if you can freaking fly it on a gimbal, that's awesome. I like that setup. Simple, basic. See what else people are rocking here. Okay, here's an interesting one. So Ronin S2, and he's rocking it with a shotgun microphone on the top. I gotta say, guys, don't do it. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Don't put a shotgun microphone on top of your camera. It makes no sense. Literally, it makes the balance so difficult to do. It adds shake to it and everything like that. If you absolutely have to put a shotgun microphone onto your gimbal, use basically any other accessory that allows you to mount the shotgun microphone off cam. There's a bunch of spots on the camera, like down here, where you can just put a mounting ring around it, a cold shoe mount, and then throw the shotgun mic right here, just sticking out. Or you can put a side grip on there and then put the shotgun mic on top of there. The main thing is that it just throws off your focus like crazy and you can't go into underslung mode. So look how high up this is going. This is a couple inches off the top of the camera. So when he holds this camera upright, that microphone is just going to smash into the back motor here. So don't put shotgun mics on top of your rig. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I see people try and do that and it just doesn't make any sense at all. Don't put wireless lavs up there either, because again, it makes it hard to balance. Put it onto the gimbal itself. All right, let's see some other rig setups here. So this looks cool. It looks like you got the new Ronin S2 and he's got it broken down. I love that DJI just like full leaned into this. They're like, no, you can break it down with the original Ronin S. You could take off the bottom half and power it separately and use it as pretty much just a 3-axis stabilized head. I love that they're doing that. It looks like he's got it just on top of a tripod here, but it's super stable. It makes his shots really clean if he's doing panning, tilting, that sort of thing. And obviously he's got it powered off of a V-mount somewhere, or maybe it's plugged in. But I love that use for the gimbal instead of just hand holding it. He's now got a 3-axis head, and I see guys put these on sliders and stuff, so it's really cool. Here's another setup, just a little monitor off to the side, and then it looks like he's using a little mobile battery or something to actually power the camera, clip to the side. So yeah, I think that's a good, simple setup there too. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want me to keep reviewing some of the ones here on Facebook? Are you liking this or not? So I'd love to keep going. Just haven't got any new submissions on Instagram from you guys yet. So if you just hopped in, send it over. We'll watch it and then we'll call it a night if I can find a couple more rigs from you guys. So otherwise, if you guys like me reviewing the Facebook ones, we'll check out a couple more in this group. Someone's going to stumble across this eventually on Facebook and be like, hey, this guy was talking about my rig. What the heck? All right, let's see what's going on. Domino Story says, what do you think about the Aero Trinity? Looks awesome. It's also insanely expensive. Very few people are going to be able to buy that. But Steadicam, I believe, made one that works with the Ronin S. I saw it at NAB 2019, and it worked with the Ronin S just fine. So I think I think you could use that one. It's a lot cheaper than the Airy Trinity. All right, so cool stuff. Dem Boys Outdoors, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining the live stream, dude. Dablibo says, keep going, don't stop. Okay, yeah, dude. So like I said, if you guys are enjoying this, hit the like button right now. If I see that jump up, I'm going to know that you guys are enjoying this and want me to keep showing a couple more film, little gimbal reviews on Facebook. So let's check it out. Okay, I got one more submission here. Looks like popped in. See if I can get this thing downloaded and up for you guys. All right. Here we go. Oh, dang, it's sideways. Let's see if I can flip it really quick. Hold on. Do some quick photo editing, and then we'll make this come to life for you guys. All right, here we go. So a couple last-minute submissions or last-minute submission here, and then we'll keep it going. So here we go. All right. So we've got a submission here from YangK4 on Instagram, YangK4. So thanks for sending this over, dude. Love to see it. You love to see it. So we got, looks like the original Ronin S and that's the Ronin S original. So it's got the original Ronin S with a Ninja V, I believe, or is that the Shogun? Or not the Shogun, the little guy, the baby brother to it. Samurai? Gosh, what is that thing called? Starts with an S. Let me know in the chat below. But I can't tell if that's the Ninja. I don't think it is. I think it's the other one that doesn't have recording on it. Anyways, so oh no, it does have recording. I see your SSD there plugged in the side. Sorry, I'm just like trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see it better on the live stream. Sorry. It doesn't let me adjust this grid, so it's hard to see. But yeah, so it's got the Ninja V mounted directly on the back with a little monitor mount of some sort. Doesn't look like a small rig one, but it looks like it does exactly what I was talking about, is getting that centered on the back, just looking right up at you. I love that. And then he's got kind of an outrigger handle here. That's what I like to call it. Off the side so we can get a nice grip on it. It's Ninja V. Okay, yeah, thanks, man. He's chatting me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as soon as I saw that little SSD on the side. It's got to be the Ninja V. So got the outrigger handle. Looks great. Really solid connection wrapped around there. Is this one from DJI? Looks like I see the DJI branding on there. Looks like this is the one that actually DJI built, and so it's very custom to them. It looks really solid. Cool setup. Let's see. It looks like you're rocking the Sony A6500 or A6400, something like that. Or maybe it's the A6000. I can't tell for sure. But it's a good camera, light. I really like that camera a lot with the cage. So a lot of guys take off their cage when they fly it on a gimbal. But as long as your gimbal is strong enough and your camera's not too heavy, I always leave the cage on. Especially because I can put an HDMI lock on there. So I would say for your setup here, dude, throw an HDMI lock on there, and that way you don't have to worry about it getting unplugged when you're spinning or anything on the gimbal. You want to make sure that that doesn't ever get a bad tug on it. Okay. Yeah, he's commenting back to me here. It's the Sony A6500. Yep, same one that I'm filming this live stream on right now. Love the camera. It's great. He says now he's rocking the Sony A7 III. Great camera as well. I love the full frame look on that. So both awesome cameras. Throw an HDMI lock on there, dude. They're super cheap. You can pick it up from SmallRig. It'll help keep that HDMI locked into place. Sometimes, see, if you're doing external recording to your Ninja V, it will drop frames or stop the recording if the HDMI signal stops transmitting even for a second, right? So make sure that's locked on really good, because I've ran with it before with no HDMI lock, and it got tugged on the gimbal, and then boom, the recording was killed on my Ninja, and it's just it's a done deal at that point. So throw it on there. They're super cheap from SmallRig. I think they're 15 or maybe $20 on Amazon, and you can just lock that HDMI down so that you can continue recording on your Ninja with no problems at all. I would say that's one good thing to add. But yeah, otherwise good looking, really good looking setup. He's saying that's the switch grip that he's using. So looks really cool. I love the setup. The Ronin S and the A6500 is a great setup. I love shooting on that. I've shot countless events and clients with that. So good stuff, man. Yeah, so I think I haven't seen any new other submissions yet. So I think we'll be wrapping up here in just a minute because y'all about done sending them over. So I just check out the comments really quick. Doblabo says, should you be able to pan while walking? My AK2000S won't let me unless I walk very smoothly. Yes, you should definitely be able to pan while walking. Always walk smoothly. Obviously, we all know we got to do the ninja walk when we're walking with a gimbal. I made a whole shirt about it. You can check it out in my merch down below, or it's pinned up here, I think. But pretty much, it's a ninja walking with a gimbal. I mean, how more meta can you get than that? So yes, walk obviously very smooth, but even if you're walking really smooth and it's not smooth on those pans, make sure it's balanced really well. Double check it. And if it's still not balanced well and it's not working good for you, maybe it's time to sell the AK2000, sell it locally or on eBay or something, and pick up maybe the new Ronin S2 or the SC2 or something. I haven't had issues with that at all when I'm panning. Same with the cranes. But on the AK series, the AK4000, AK2000, they're a little bit more jittery. I have the AK, the AK4000. I have the AK4000, and it's a little bit more jittery with panning and tilting. It just is. Even if it's really well balanced, I think that's just a small downfall of the Feiyutech gimbals. So just keep that in mind. All right. Cine Format, what's up? He says, did you hear news about Tilta's ecosystem for the Ronin S2? Is it new news? I'm not sure, because yes, I mean, I've seen obviously on their website, they have a ton of accessories and things so that you can put it onto the end of a jib arm. You can put it on a car mount, put it on a slider, all different things. So if you're talking about that, yes, it looks awesome. I would love to get my hands on one and start playing with that. I think it's really cool. So, all right, let's see what else is going on here. Michael Maestro Piercy says, what email do you send the pics to? Only on Instagram is what we're doing right now, is just DMs to my Instagram at Chadwin. Send your photos over there. I'm not putting them on email right now. So if you can get them over to me before this thing wraps, I'd love to review your gimbal. Span Down the Beats, hi, welcome back to the live stream. It's always good to see you. I start to just recognize everyone that's joining because a lot of you guys hop in every time, so it's good to have you here. Emily Cohen, what's up? Says, what gimbal would you recommend for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K? You got to have a bigger gimbal for sure, something more powerful. So I have the Pocket 6K, and right now I'm rocking it with the Zhiyun Crane 2S, and it works great. The nice thing about it is that there's actually clearance for the larger gimbal. So as you know, the Blackmagic Pocket 6K is a very wide camera. It's strangely wide. And I think it's because there's a 5-inch display on it, so that just has to naturally be really wide. But I'm going to try and show this to you guys. But as you can see, hopefully you can, this connection right here slides out a lot. And because it does, it allows you to have space to fit the Pocket 6K onto the gimbal because you have that extra space. Pretty much a lot of the other ones, like the Ronin S original, doesn't articulate out this way. So it won't fit on there well unless you have a cage or an offset plate so that you can get it to work on there. The new Ronin S2 and obviously the Crane 2S have this ability to get the camera further away from this so you can fit larger cameras. So that's what I'm rocking. I really like that. I think I would go with the Crane 2S or the Ronin S2. Either of those will work great with the Pocket 6K. Definitely get one that has a larger weight capacity because it's a heavy and kind of just bulkier camera in itself. So either of those I think are great options. So yeah, definitely check that out. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Southside Medical Center. I don't think I've ever had a medical center join the chat. So what's up? He says, or he or she, I don't know. What gimbal best for Blackmagic Ursa 4.6K camera? That camera's massive. You're going to need a big gimbal. There might be some that can handle it, but I would probably go with something like the Crane 2, which we were talking about earlier. It's really expensive. It was like $5,000. Or the Movi Pro. Again, really expensive, like $4,000 or $5,000. I know, let let me take that back. The Crane, no. The Zhiyun Crane 3 Lab or whatever it is can handle, I hate their naming system, by the way. Zhiyun, please. Name your gimbals better. They're so confusing. I think it's the Zhiyun Crane 3S, right? Zhiyun Crane 3S can handle much larger cameras, so maybe you could put the Ursa Mini on there. I've seen guys put Reds on there, obviously like Potato Jet. He'll put the world's largest camera with the world's largest lens on there. I've seen him do it with that. So yeah, you could probably rock the Ursa Mini on that one. So check that out, maybe could work. Coffee Boy 06, what's up? He says, would the Fujifilm X-T4 fit on the Weebill S? Yes, absolutely it would, no problems. Just depends on what lens you're rocking. Obviously, that's a smaller, lighter gimbal. It has a smaller load capacity. So maybe if you have a way to weigh it, or you can just look up how much your camera weighs and look up how much your lens weighs. You usually can find that info on Amazon, just in the listing. Add it together and see what the weight capacity of the Weebill S is. And there you go. If it can handle it, you're good to go. But yeah, 100% it can handle the X-T4. That's a small camera for the most part, but it just depends on how big of a lens you're rocking. So cool stuff. I'm going to check the inbox here one more time, see if there's any more gimbal submissions. I don't want to miss anyone that's in the chat right now submitting them. That would be sad. So doesn't look like we have any additional submissions right now. Guys, if you've been enjoying the live stream, smash the like button right now before we leave. It helps the algorithm. And please subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, why are you even watching this video? I'm grateful you're here though, but hit subscribe as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another late night live stream where we talked about your gimbal rig setups and just other general camera gear stuff. It's always a good time. Yeah, smash like, hit subscribe. I'll see you guys. I'll watch you guys. I will watch you guys in the next live stream. I'm always watching the chat, but I'll see you guys in the next video, in the next live stream, everything like that. Have an awesome night or day if you're in New Zealand or wherever you are on the other side of the world. It's always a good time. I will see you guys later. Have a good night.